Good afternoon. It's Tuesday the 5th of March and this is the 27th of 53 consecutive 5-mile walks from the Gresford Disaster Memorial to the Miners Rescue and back again. And spring is certainly in the air.
And so to the inquiry. Before it's even begun, controversy struck, and it focused on the appointment of Sir Henry Walker, the Chief Inspector of Mines, to the role of Commissioner. And you can understand why. It's a little like the NHS overseeing the inquiry into infected blood, or a government leading an inquiry into its own response to the COVID pandemic. There was concern that he would be prejudiced against the miners, given the fact that his day job put him in the highest position in the Mines Inspectorate, a body whose primary role was to ensure pit safety. Many believe that an independent figure should have been appointed into the role. In response, the Secretary of Mines asserted that the Miners' Federation of Great Britain had consented to the appointment, and they gave assurances that the Miners' Federation could bring any workmen forward as witnesses. However, as time went on, the suspicion of prejudice hardened into certainty on the miners' side. The inquiry dragged on for nearly 2 years, and Walker's conduct was frequently under attack, and there were times when his position seemed untenable. A further controversy centred on the fact that the mine owners refused access to the mine at any point of the inquiry. Consequently, the possibility of progress with the investigation into the actual causes of the explosion was remote. The final report of the inquiry explicitly states that, throughout the proceedings, the court and the parties laboured under the heavy handicap that hardly any of the evidence could be verified or checked by any inspection of the workings. That handicap has been keenly felt in the preparation of this report. And so I've arrived at the Miners' Rescue on this particular walk, and this marks the halfway point of this challenge. With 245,000 steps, 133 miles, and 44.5 hours in the bag. A massive thank you to all the 60 people who've donated to push the total up to £1,576. Thank you. Therefore, it was decided that the scope of the inquiry would be 1. To take evidence as to the condition of the mine and its operations prior to the explosion, and 2. To take evidence of the occurrence of the explosion and the immediate events that followed it. "189 witnesses would be questioned across nearly 2 years, and the court sat on 38 days to hear and consider evidence. Starting today and sadly continuing over the next few walks, I'll take you through a shockingly long list of the basic safety precautions that were neglected and in all probability contributed to the deaths of 266 Wrexham men and boys. The first key issue identified by the inquiry was the lack of supervision of the Dennis section. 2 years before the explosion, a key safety agent left his position. He was not replaced, and William Bonsall was left to carry on the mine without the guidance of any technically informed superior official. Bonsall visited the Dennis section from time to time, but in the 2 months prior to the explosion, he'd been preoccupied in another district where belt conveyors were being installed. He had been underground in the Dennis section during the night shift. It was so long ago, he couldn't remember when. Andrew Williams, under manager, was solely responsible for supervising the Dennis section, and whilst he was there daily, he was very seldom present at night. Added to this, only one of the 3 employed overmen, a supervisory role given to experienced miners, exercised any supervision in the Dennis section, and that was only very occasionally. The last time before the explosion that the overman had been at the face of any of the workings in the Dennis section was on the 21st of August.
This walk was dedicated to Llewellyn Jones of Gresford, Jabez Jones, John Richard Jones, John Robert Jones and John S. Jones. And today's song, Motorcycle Emptiness by the Manic Street Preachers.